Hey, good afternoon, everybody from downtown Little Rock. I'm Jeremy Muck. I'm the high school football coordinator at the Arkansas Democrat Gazette here in Little Rock. And happy football season, everybody. This is we're here. We are here, man. And boys and girls out there, we got football on Monday night. It's coming. 0 week. It is here. I mean, it's cooled down a little bit, thank goodness. So we're getting closer to football weather a little bit, but we got games coming up. I mean, it's here. I mean, no more talking about previews and what's going to happen. I mean, we're actually going to see what's going to happen next week. But before we dive into 0 week, let me introduce myself a little bit. For those of you who don't know me, again, I'm Jeremy Muck. I'm the high school football coordinator at the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. This is my 6th year as the coordinator here at the Democrat Gazette. What my job entails is I'm in charge of our high school football coverage. I am in charge of our news, our stats, everything that goes on this beat, like good and bad. The good, on the field with the games. The bad sometimes, coaching changes, coaching firings, and what have you, eligibility issues, different things are going on. I'm in charge of that. And it's a pretty neat job. It's like I cover over 200 high schools here in the state of Arkansas, so it's like covering one big university in a way, but you got 200 high schools, so it's definitely a big task, but we enjoy doing it here in Little Rock and throughout the state of Arkansas. It's a lot of people enjoy high school football here. We also, we cover high school football every week during the football season. We have a dedicated team of reporters, both on our staff and throughout the state on a freelance basis that cover games throughout the state, throughout every corner of the state of Arkansas. We utilize the Northwest Arkansas Democrat Gazette to cover the 7A West and other conferences up in Northwest Arkansas. So, we pride ourselves in having the best coverage in the state of Arkansas for high school football on Friday nights and in the Saturday morning edition of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. And one thing that we've definitely done over the last couple of years, and we're going to make a big push this season for it, is online. We have our scoreboard at arkansasonline.com/ARPreps, and we're going to have the scoreboard will be updated every Friday night with live updated scores from every game in the state. And the games that we have reporters at, we'll have Twitter accounts on each game. So for example, next Friday night, spoiler alert, I will be covering the Salt Bowl at War Memorial Stadium here in Little Rock, Ben and Bryant. I'll be at that game. So if you want to find out, if you're not able to make it out to the stadium, you can follow our scoreboard at arkansasonline.com/ARPreps. And you look at the score, say Ben Bryant score first quarter, and there's a link right on that scoreboard, and click it, and you can click on my Twitter account, and we'll have updates throughout the game. So that's a pretty cool thing that we do here at the Democrat Gazette. And also we are introducing these podcasts this season. It's not just going to be me. Trust me, you don't want to hear me talk for however long. We're actually going to have Rex Nelson. He needs no introduction. Rex Nelson, as you know, he is a great voice of football here in the Natural State. He's our senior editor here at the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, and he's covered sports and politics here in the state. And he hosts his own scoreboard show every Friday night on the radio. That's going to be. He's been doing that for many years, but we're going to be glad to have Rex Nelson joining us this year on our Democrat Gazette football podcast. We have not come up with a name for it yet, but if you got any suggestions, let us know. We'll certainly take your suggestions and whatnot. But, Rex and I will be on these podcasts, so really looking forward to working with Rex on this. He's covered football. He covered high school football games in the state before I was born. I won't tell you my age, but I'm kind of young. Let's just say that. So we've definitely he's been around the block for a little bit, so we're definitely glad to have his experience here at the Democrat Gazette for high school football. Going into the next week, we got 0 week, and we got games on Monday, Tuesday, we got day off on Wednesday, and then we got 2 games in the state on Thursday, and we got a full slate of games on Friday night, and then we got a couple games on Saturday. And let's go into Monday. Monday, we got the Buzz Kickoff Classic over at War Memorial Stadium, just down the road here. And we got Little Rock McClellan taking on Pine Bluff Dalloway at 5 o'clock. And then we got Des Arc England at 7:30. Officially 7:30, but more about 7:45, just to be honest, if we're really looking at kickoffs and whatnot. And then up in Jonesboro, we'll be at Centennial Bank Stadium on the campus of Arkansas State University. We'll be Jonesboro West Side against Greene County Tech at 5:30, then followed by Osceola and Valley View at that'll be the second game of the night up in Jonesboro. Osceola was in the Class 3A state championship game last year. Very good team coming back with Robert Hooks as the head coach. Really like what the Seminoles are doing up there. Going into Tuesday night, same deal at War Memorial. It's a doubleheader there. Starts at 5 o'clock. West Memphis coming all the way over from Eastern Arkansas. They won 11 games last year. They are one of the best teams in Class 6A. They expect to be going deep in November once again. They'll be taking on Little Rock Central, led by Kent Laster in his second year. Central's trying to come up, trying to improve the program. You know, Ken's doing some things out there at Central. We'll see what happens on Tuesday night out there at the stadium. And that game is followed by Nashville and Watson Chapel. Nashville, traditional power. They won 10 games last year. They're a program that had a lot of young kids last year, but they expect to be back this year. Nashville is a program that's used to winning state championships. They have not won a state championship since 2015, but there's a lot of high expectations down there this year. So they kick off their season Tuesday night against Watson Chapel. Watson Chapel, Class 5A team in the 5A Central. They're a team right now that, you know, they had a disappointing year last year, trying to come back. But, you know, you play in that 5A Central, you playing against Pulaski Academy, Little Rock Christian, Parkview, Whitehall. I mean, you can even look at Maumelle as well. I mean, that's a tough conference to try to rebuild in. So we'll see what happens with Watson Chapel this year. And as I said earlier, Wednesday night, no games on Wednesday. Typically here in the state of Arkansas and most southern states, you typically don't have football games on Wednesday nights for church night. That's all we'll say about religion on this. Thursday, big game out of Pulaski Academy. Pulaski Academy hosting Springdale Harbor in a televised game, part of Fearless Fridays television coverage. They're starting that again this year. That game will be at 7 o'clock. Pulaski Academy's been in the state championship game the last 5 years. They won 4 titles in a row in Class 5A, lost last year's game to Little Rock Christian. So the Bruins going into this season for the first time in a while, not as defending state champions. So it's kind of a new territory for those kids right now. But Kevin Kelly's led that program to 7 state championships. They're gonna be in the mix once again. Playing a Harbor team in Class 7A. Had a year last year where they had a lot of injuries. They had some transfers before the year, leave the program. Just a lot of what could go wrong went wrong for Harbor last year. But the Wildcats expect to have a better year this year. Then going into Friday, we have a bunch of games on Friday night. A lot of teams will be playing in the 0 week. We mentioned the Salt Bowl earlier. Ben and Bryant, one of the biggest games of the year. You should expect maybe more than 30,000 people there at the stadium, so that's going to be pretty cool. Also, some other games to look forward to on Friday night. Arkadelphia at Sylvan Hills. Arkadelphia was is defending Class 4A state champion over the last 2 years, and they come back to Central Arkansas, playing a Sylvan Hills team that surprised a lot of people last year, playing in the 6A semifinals. They had a losing record, but they went through the playoffs, you know, upset Marion along the way, and they had some, they surprised a few people, but they're not going to surprise anybody this year. I mean, they got a lot of their younger players back from last year's team, so, you know, they won't be sneaking up on anybody this year. So that's a good matchup out there in Sherwood to start off the year. Arkadelphia at Sylvan Hills. Also, Greenbrier at Beebe. Beebe has a new head coach in Chris Gunter. He was the offensive coordinator at Alma, and Gunter's back had his alma mater with the Badgers. Beebe, over the last decade or so under John Shannon, had the dead tee offense, and the dead tee, you run the ball just about every play. Well, they're going to throw the ball a little bit in Beebe, so that's going to be a kind of a change out there in Badgerland out there. So, you know, you expect to leave the Beebe games probably in 2 hours. Well, give it another 15, 30 minutes out there. That game will take a little bit longer, you know, throwing the ball and whatnot. But, you know, other games, those are the main games I've been looking at on that Friday night. Then you look at Saturday, Bentonville takes on Midwest City, Oklahoma, in a doubleheader there at Bentonville High School. They're playing at 3 o'clock. Then North Little Rock, the defending 7A Central champion, went to the state title game last year, lost to Bryant. They bring a lot of kids back. They'll be back. They'll be playing Booker T. Washington at 7 o'clock up there in Bentonville. So those are kind of the big games to look forward to next week. But we got 11 weeks of the regular season. You got week 0, and then you got week 1 through 10, and it goes into early November. Then you got the playoffs in November, and then these state championship games in December. So, after tonight, beginning next week, the grind begins. It really begins. The grind's already started for a lot of these kids, being in fall camp, being in off-season weight programs and 7-on-7s and fall camp. But next week, it really begins. That's why you lift the weights. That's why you're out there. These games, it's all about the games next week. We're not going to be talking about next season. We're not talking about last season anymore with these previews. We're going to be talking about actual games under the lights. We're going to see some new players, some new highlights, some new memories. It's going to be a lot of fun out there. So, just a kind of an introductory deal into what we're going to be doing here at the Arkansas Democrat Gazette for high school football here in 2019. So, we're looking forward to covering high school football for y'all here in 2019. It's a lot of fun here. Football is a big time sport here in the state of Arkansas, and we enjoy covering it. So, as I said earlier, we'll be joined by Rex Nelson in future podcasts. So it won't be just me. But just want to say thank you all for watching. And once again, I'm Jeremy Muck at the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. And you can follow me on Twitter at JeremyMuck8EG. That's Jeremy Muck 8EG. And you also read our stories in the Arkansas Democrat Gazette and in the print edition, and also online at arkansasonline.com. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend, and go out and see a high school football game. Thank you.